It's funny to think about this, isn't it? We take time to design a house before we build it. We get our clothes designed before we wear them. Everything that is man-made is designed before it's made. At least we had an idea before the outcome was decided.
There's no volume.
But when it comes to life, no one bothers to design their life. The most precious thing of all, life, must be designed.
Discover the power within you. Create the life of your dreams. Reprogram your subconscious mind and live your life by design and not by default. Manifestation Decoded. The real secret behind the secret. Let's explore the infinite possibilities that you have the power to achieve.
We have been actively practicing and teaching meditation, manifestation, and breathwork for over 2 decades.
We have put our knowledge, wisdom, and experience together for you in a power-packed 28-day live and interactive mega master course.
We took more than 2 decades to learn from various spiritual scientists and mentors and master this powerful manifestation process. But you don't need to.
We are excited to share with you the knowledge of decades in days.
So let's come together and make the law of attraction work for you.
See you on the inside.
Hello, good evening, Shreans.
Yeah, very good evening, FK. Very good evening.
Good evening, friends. Big warm hello. Welcome to day 8. And today we discuss the second part of quantum physics, how thoughts become things.
Hello.
Super excited to be with you.
Keshav, mute yourself. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, that's gracious. It's fine. And thank you for continuing this journey together. Quick recall from yesterday's session, where we discussed the very nature of what quantum is, going right up to the field, and then, discovering how we are all a part of that field and we can manifest what we want from there because it already exists in that dimension. I remember this quote that you said yesterday from Tesla, which is Nikola Tesla, that if you wish to find the secrets of the universe, think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. Another very powerful experiment was that of Dr. Emoto Masuru's water experiment, where you saw the particles change their shape, nature, depending on what kind of vibration, energy, or emotion was fed to them. And I'm sure, like me, a lot of you would have been surprised to know that 1 drop of water can store millions of terabytes of information. That's how powerful this field is. And we should all strive, I think, from moving to seeing is believing to believing is seeing, because that has its own wonders and, immeasurable capacity to manifest. Then we heard Elon Musk talking about breaking things to fundamental truth and then reasoning up from there. And also paying attention to feedback, especially negative feedback and especially feedback from your friends. Then we discussed how with your feelings, intention, emotion, you can collapse waves of possibility straight into matter. And then we also discussed the different names of the field, like the field, the quantum field, Planck field, the matrix, the quantum vacuum, the vortex, and Shreans likes to call it the field of infinite possibility. Then the properties of the field, which is that it's holographic, it's entangled, and it's fractal. what is really miraculous is that whatever you want can come to you wherever you are, and you don't really need to chase or go after it. Again, like more detail about the field, that how it's the container for all things. I'm going into this a little bit in detail since we are continuing this today.
Sure.
How the field is the container for all things, the bridge between our inner and outer worlds, and the mirror for all our experiences. The power is within us, which we keep reiterating, and it is an absolute truth. We also saw a video of the Swiss experiment, how the quantum entanglement, where one particle, if one particle is impacted, it automatically affects the other one, irrespective of their distance. And you can change the timeline of your destiny, which is when free will enters, and with your discernment, with your vibration, you change the timeline of your destiny. And what really stayed with me is that we live in a participatory universe. So anything you do or think there is going to inadvertently in some way or the other affect me as well. And that makes one, I think, very conscious of how they live, think, behave, if it's, delved sincerely into. So today is the part 2 of quantum physics from yesterday's, carrying on to how thoughts become things. Quick lines of verse to sum it up before we begin. This I wrote today.
Yeah, excited to hear.
To run after what is fleeting is so outdated. Upgrade, don't chase. Be the sun. Charge yourself so it all finds you, like this journey you have begun.
Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Lovely. So thank you.
Thank you, Shreans.
Yes. So friends, today I will again start by a meditation. Today's meditation will be connecting to the source energy, connecting to the field, connecting to the divine, whatever we may call it, and basically tuning into your own frequency, inner alignment, and connecting to that source energy, whom we are and where we are the extension of that source energy, right? So it's a very, very deep meditation. It's for an hour. So let's begin, friends. And after the meditation, we'll take a 3-minute break, and then we'll start the session. Let's start. Take a comfortable position, sit up straight, clasp your hands, cross your legs, eyes closed. The purpose of this meditation is to connect to your inner being, to explore the depth of your consciousness, and to reconnect to the source energy. The process is simple and a great way to experience your divinity and to lose yourself in nothing, to become everything, to surrender your limited self to experience the expanded consciousness. Swami Nisargadatta Maharaj once said, "Wisdom is knowing that I am nothing, and love is knowing that I am everything, and between the two, my life flows." So today, let's embrace this consciousness, this awareness. So first, we'll start with brain coherence, which helps you to make your mind empty, lose your identity, drop all resistance, and raise your vibrations. Then we move to the second stage, heart coherence. Here you open your heart,
Connect to your inner being. Transcend your feelings and retreat into your inner sanctuary. And then allow the music to guide you and take you into a deeper state of consciousness. This powerful deep music is created from the sacred code of Moses with the help of tuning forks. And finally, we'll end the meditation with an extremely powerful Mula mantra to invoke the Supreme Consciousness. So I welcome you, dear friends, in this deep, powerful meditation. I hope you enjoy it. And now, I want to invite you to gently shift your awareness to your nostrils. Take one deep breath in through your nostrils, and as you breathe out, relax. And one more slow, steady breath in, and as you exhale, let your whole body relax. Shift your awareness from the world around you to the world inside you. At this moment of time, nothing else exists but your breath. Just be with your breath. Normal, natural, simple, easy, relaxed breathing. With every inhalation and exhalation, feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the wave of relaxation sweeping your whole body. At this moment of time, completely drop your identity, your personality self, your ego, your analytical mind, which is an extension of your ego. Just drop it all. And become pure consciousness. Withdraw your attention from all people, places, things, time and events, and just be with your in-breath and out-breath, and feel your whole body sinking into this generous present moment. And as you observe each and every breath coming in and out of your nostrils, sense the temperature
in your nostrils. Notice the sensations of the air as it moves in and out of your nostrils. The sharp, cool sensation of the air on the way in and the warm, soft sensation of the air on the way out. Notice it. Sense it. Each and every breath is keenly observed. Let not a single breath slip by without your awareness. If any time your attention seems to drift away with your thoughts, come back to your breath. Bring your attention back to your nostrils. With every breath, feel going deeper and deeper within. Go deeper. Drift deeper. Sink further deep. And even deeper still. And now it's time to become nobody. No one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. Become pure consciousness, aware that you're aware in this endless, vast field. surrender any aspects of your limited self to join the greater self and lose yourself in nothing to become everything. And now, gently shift your awareness to your heart center, to your beautiful heart, your soul. This is the sacred place where we create from. And as you breathe in and breathe out from this center, feel your feelings. Remember, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And as you breathe in and breathe out from this creative center, you infuse more life into the center with your attention. With every breath, you awaken your heart. Furthermore, with every breath, you open your heart. Furthermore, your heart is a bridge that connects you to your source as you dive deeper into the core of your inner being. And now it's time to tune in to your source energy, where all things are created from. Connect to this unified field, the field of pure potential. Connect to the field of pure possibilities, to the field of opportunities. Tune in to this quantum field. This is the place from where everything came from. This is the place manifest the infinite waves of possibilities into matter. Tune in to this source of energy. Tune in into singularity. Lose the separation and become one with this unified force, which is pure love and bliss. Feel the oneness with the divine. Plug in into this divine matrix. Get into this vortex, the vortex of creation. With every breath, you pierce this wheel and feel your connection with this web of light. With every breath, you align with this wholeness. With every breath, transcend time and space. Move beyond shape and form. Experience the union of duality, the union of polarity. Experience the state of oneness, the state of non-duality. With every breath, connect to this eternal now. Connect to this absolute. Surrender to this field, to this glory. Every breath, join this ocean of light. With every breath, align your vibrational frequency. This invincible field, with this mystic field. With every breath, explore the depths of your consciousness. Pierce into the etheric inner realm, which is indestructible, which is imperishable. Which is unformed. Become one with this pure positive energy. Merge with this heavenly energy, the unity of macrocosm with microcosm. Tattvam Asi, you are that.
Satchidananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Satchidananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namah Om Satchidananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namah Satchitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namah Om Satchitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namah Om Satchitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namah Hari Om Satchidananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti Shanti
And now, slowly come back. Slowly bring your awareness back to your new consciousness, to your new body, in a whole new world, in a new environment, in a whole new time. Take your time and slowly come back. And whenever you're ready, you can gently rub both your hands and place it over your beautiful eyes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you may gently open your eyes. Take your time. Slowly come back, feeling blessed and complete. Thank you for spending these moments with me. My love and appreciation to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, we had some technical issue, but I hope you enjoyed your meditation.
Thank you.
Yes.
Shreans,
Yes.
I've wondered about one thing. Whenever we say come back to your new consciousness, I
Yes.
understand that, okay, now, after each session or every time we practice, something makes us more aware. So does that mean that the consciousness expands, and is there any limit to it?
No, there's no limit. We are constantly changing. I mean, we're a new person, we're a new consciousness, right? So when you have changed your thoughts, your feelings, different when you've gotten a biological upgrade, different chemicals in your body. So at every level, you have changed, new body, new consciousness, new environment. Because when your perception of the world changes, the environment is new. When things change inside you, things change around you. So that's how it's a new environment now. So the whole idea is to remind you that you're coming back as a new person and changing at all levels.
Thank you, friends, for such beautiful messages. And we go now into the second part of quantum physics, how thoughts become things.
Yes.
The master will lead.
We'll take a 3 minutes break.
3 minutes break.
Yeah. Keshav, we can open the chat to everyone and we can take a 3 minutes.
Shreans, you please go ahead. I'll mute myself.
Yes. So welcome back, friends. Thank you so much again for joining. And now we'll go to the next session, next edition of the earlier session, which we did quantum physics, how thoughts become things. So yesterday we saw a few experiments, and today I'm going to show you a few more experiments, which will make you understand and really believe that how our thoughts manifest in this quantum world, in this quantum field. So we'll start by a very famous experiment, which is called double slit experiment. So it's a video which I'm going to show it to you. Please watch it very carefully, and then I'm going to explain it in detail. Right? So let's start this video.
And here we are, the granddaddy of all quantum weirdness, the infamous double slit experiment. To understand this experiment, we first need to see how particles, or little balls of matter, act. If we randomly shoot a small object, say a marble, at the screen, we see a pattern on the back wall where they went through the slit and hit. Now, if we add a second slit, we would expect to see a second band duplicated to the right. Now, let's look at waves. The waves hit the slit and radiate out, striking the back wall with the most intensity directly in line with the slit. The line of brightness on the back screen shows that intensity. This is similar to the line the marbles make. But when we add the second slit, something different happens. If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall. Places where the two tops meet are the highest intensity, the bright lines, and where they cancel, there is nothing. So, when we throw things, that is, matter, through two slits, we get this, two bands of hits. And with waves, we get an interference pattern of many bands. Good so far. Now, let's go quantum. An electron is a tiny, tiny bit of matter, like a tiny marble. Let's fire a stream through one slit. It behaves just like the marble, a single band. So, if we shoot these tiny bits through two slits, we should get, like the marbles, two bands. What? An interference pattern. We fired electrons, tiny bits of matter through. But we get a pattern like waves, not like little marbles. How? How could pieces of matter create an interference pattern like a wave? It doesn't make sense. But physicists are clever. They thought, maybe those little balls are bouncing off each other and creating that pattern. So, they decide to shoot electrons through one at a time. There is no way they could interfere with each other. But after an hour of this, the same interference pattern is seen to emerge. The conclusion is inescapable. The single electron leaves as a particle, becomes a wave of potentials, goes through both slits, and interferes with itself to hit the wall like a particle. But mathematically, it's even stranger. It goes through both slits, and it goes through neither. And it goes through just one, and it goes through just the other. All of these possibilities are in superposition with each other. But physicists were completely baffled by this. So they decided to peek and see which slit it actually goes through. They put a measuring device by one slit to see which one it went through and let it fly. But the quantum world is far more mysterious than they could have imagined. When they observed, the electron went back to behaving like a little marble. It produced a pattern of 2 bands, not an interference pattern of many. The very act of measuring or observing which slit it went through meant it only went through one, not both. The electron decided to act differently, as though it was aware it was being watched. And it was here that physicists stepped forever into the strange netherworld of quantum events. What is matter? Marbles or waves? And waves of what? And what does an observer have to do with any of this? The observer collapsed the wave function simply by observing.
So I'll repeat this experiment. I'll just repeat the explanation of this experiment. Can you hear my voice clearly? Is my volume low or it's fine?
It's loud and clear at my end. I know a lot of people are messaging saying sound problem, but for me, it's perfect here.
Okay.
I think it's perfect. Everyone's okay. Now it's loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay. Great. Thank you. So you know what happened? I'll repeat the experiment so that those who have not understood can understand it better. So first, the scientists put one slit and they were shooting the marble through that slit, right? And marble is matter. We all know it. So on the behind the wall there was one line because it was going through one slit, right? So now they decided to put to pass the marbles through 2 slits, and when they threw the marble through 2 slits, behind they saw 2 lines, 2 bands of line, right? 2 bands on the wall. So this is simple. Now what they did is they decided to when they passed the liquid through one band, again with wherever the highest intensity, again it formed one line. Through one slit, it formed one line. When they again pass the liquid through 2 slits, so you know how, like when you throw 2 stones in water, how they interfere with each other? The same way, like when the liquid is passed through 2 slits, it interferes with each other, and wherever it interferes at the highest intensity and it touches the band, it touches the board, it forms lines. So that's why you could see multiple lines at the end of the board. And we know how this is how the liquid behaves. And we have a lot of times we have seen throwing stones in the river or in the pond, and we have seen that interference pattern, right? So the matters behave differently and the liquid behave differently. So far, so good. Now, what did scientists do? They wanted to experiment with electron. So what is electron? Electron is the tiniest particle of matter. So obviously it should behave like a matter because it is just a particle of matter. So again, they passed the electron through one slit. So it behaved like there was only one band at the end of the in the wall, right? So now they decided to pass the electrons through 2 bands, and when they passed the electrons through 2 bands, that is when the scientists were baffled because it behaved like liquid. It behaved as if there was an interference pattern, and then there were many lines at the end of the board, and that was very surprisingly because. How can a matter, electron is the tiniest particle of matter. So in spite of sending a matter, they behaved as if it was a liquid. So that proves that the tiniest particle of matter is nothing but waves of energy and information. And it behaves like how the waves particles behave. So this proves that we are not matter. We are all waves of whatever you say matter is waves of energy information, right? So now another interesting thing. Scientists said, okay, Maybe because we are shooting electrons together, back to back, back to back, back to back, and a lot of electrons are coming together. So maybe they are touching each other, they are colliding with each other, and that's why they might be making so many bands at the end of the wall. So they decided to shoot it one by one, right? Now, at the end of 1 hour of the experiment, even they shot it one by one, it again had an interference pattern, again had many bands at the end of the thing. So that comes to the second observation is the quantum space is beyond time and space. The quantum world is beyond time and space. It is interfering with, even though they shot the electrons one by one, it's still, even the electron which passed before the other one still carried the energy. It left the energy into the quantum, into the field of it passing by, and even though in the next electron passed, it still interfered with that field. So this is surprisingly, so that proves that quantum field is beyond time and space, right? So that is the second conclusion from the experiment. Now the third conclusion, scientists said, how is it possible? So they decided to peek. So they put a camera and they were watching it behind the camera. So now, what was the scientist's belief system? The scientists believed that no, electrons, it is electrons. So obviously it is matter. So eventually, if they pass it to two bands, it should only form two bands. So that was the belief system of the scientist. And with that expectation, with that expectancy of that outcome, they decided to peak. Now, the electrons, the quantum world is really mysterious. So electron behaved exactly as per the expectation of the scientist. When they decided to peak, it again formed only two bands and not interference pattern. So this brings us to the third conclusion, that the observer affects what is being observed. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So clear, Navki? Is this?
Yes, Shreans, absolutely. It's taken a while and it's a little complex, but your explanation makes it clearer.
Okay, great. So if any more doubts, then I can again answer during the Q&A session.
During question and answer, yeah.
So what is most important of this observation is the observer is affecting what is being observed, right? So, and we know that all matter is energy. That's why I always say focus on what you want and do not focus on what you do not want. Because if you keep observing what you do not want, that is what will draw. That is what will happen. That is what reality will bring into your life. Change your attention to wellness. Do not focus on illness. Focus on wellness. Focus on what you want to be and not what. Focus on the reality you want to produce. Contemplate yourself as being surrounded by the reality you want to produce. But our challenge is we're always obsessed by the current situation, and that's why we're not able to see the potential. We're not able to see what is possible, what can happen. What is your dream? What is your vision of the future? So, and in our relationships or any situations, most of the time it is our expectancy which determines the outcome. If I expect this person is going to behave in a certain way, he is going to behave in a certain way because it is your expectancy which determines your outcome. Sometimes we judge a person, oh, this person is like that. And the judgment carries an emotional charge. And with that judgment, the person behaves in the same way. Sometimes we are very resistant about the situation. Oh my God, how things are, why nothing is working for me? How can life is unfair? This person is horrible, and how can he behave with me like this? So what you resist, you persist. Because what is the energy your focus? What is the energy? What is your vibrational output to the universe? Resistance. So even whatever you want to manifest, your vibration is not matching. You'll repel what you want to manifest, because you're living in a state of resistance. Whatever you fight, you strengthen, because your energy is focused on that. And that's why we are not able to achieve world peace ever. The more you fight, the more you see more chaos. They try to solve one issue, another issue crops up. So the truth is, our subjective mind has an impact on the objective world, right? Whatever you think, you expands. And that's why it says in a scripture, it says, Yad bhavam tad bhavti, Yad bhavam tad bhavti, Yatha drishti tatha srishti, Jaisi gati vaisi mati. So the truth is, the world is not only mirroring your thoughts and emotions. In fact, by changing, we live in a participatory world. By looking by observing the way by your power of observation, you are actually participating in that event. When somebody is not behaving the way the way you want to behave, but you are carrying the judgment and that resistance, but just by doing that, you are actually participating in that event. You cannot blame that person anymore, because you also strengthen that energy, and by that you actually participated in that event. And the moment you change the perception, is the very moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body. So more than forget what's happening, it's not what's happening to you, it's what's happening in you. Life is not happening to you, life is happening from you. And once you accept that you create your own reality, you are the creator, no matter what the situation is, then you take back the power. Once you know that I created it, when you are accepting that I created my reality, this is my reality which I have created, that means you take responsibility. That means you're not leaving the power to the outside world. Oh, the outside world is like this. That means you're affirming your power. Yes, I created it. But when you affirm your power, when you accept that you have created it, then what are you telling to yourself? Okay, if I have created this, that means I also have the power to change my reality. You don't feel powerless anymore. And that is what responsibility is. Responsibility is your ability to respond. And now you respond, you don't react. Now you're responding because you're taking responsibility for the situation. You're taking responsibility of your thoughts and feelings. And now you know that I have the power. If I change my thoughts, if I change my emotions, I can transform the condition. I know that rather than the current condition determining my emotion, I can change my emotion, which can transform the condition outside. Rather than living a life of cause and effect, I am the one who can cause an effect. I will be the one who will be causing an effect. And I have the power to cause an effect. Rather than having a stimulus and a response, I can be the stimulus and the universe can respond. So usually it's like, I'm repeating it many times. Usually it's like, I believe it if I see it. But in truth, if you believe it, you will see it. So friends, optimism, what is the difference between optimism and pessimism? It's not that if you're optimistic, that means you're denying the current reality. If you're going through challenges and situation, it's not that you're denying that reality. First, you're accepting it, but you are optimist. You are seeing the future. You believe that future can be positive. So optimism is not about denying the presenting reality, but an undenying belief that the future is positive. A pessimist starts worrying. A pessimist starts speculating the worst outcome. Worry is a prayer for manifesting what you do not want. Because that is where now you're speculating it. Even though it's not there, but you're imagining as if that's happening. And that is where your attention goes. That is where your observation power is focused on. And then you increase the probability of that happening in your life. And then you say, oh, I feared that. I said so. But it's happening because you said so. It's happening because you feared it. Because you were fearing it. So whatever we perceive as reality becomes a reality. A man is according to the manner in which you look at him. Right. So I'll share some new slides. So as we know that we are living in a quantum world, so the forbidden question is, what is our relationship? What is our relationship to the universe? Right? We always wonder. So are we passive observers in the universe? Are we passive observers in the universe? Are we the victim of circumstances? Or are we the creator of circumstances? Do we create our own reality? Or we are destined to go through this reality? Are we the victims of our genes? Or are we or is our DNA our destiny? Or there's a free will and we can master and we can create whatever we want. It's a choice. So you have to ask yourself, do you believe in free will or do you believe in fairy tale? So are we active participants in the universe, influencing our circumstances each and every day? Yes. The truth is, every thought, and with every feeling, you are constantly creating. It's just that we have created it unconsciously, and now you can become a conscious creator. Consciously or unconsciously, we anyways created a reality. So why not create it consciously? In alignment of our dreams, in alignment of our visions. So it's a choice. You can be a host to your future or hostess to your past. So a very famous physicist, John Wheeler, he was a colleague of Einstein from Princeton University of Physics University and university's physicist. So he says we are a part of a universe that is a work in progress. So even the universe is constantly changing. It is constantly work in progress, as we are a work in progress. We live in a participatory universe. So we are participating in the universe and the universe is participating with us. As the world is changing, it is changing the universe. As we are changing the universe. So we are all interconnected. Greg Braden says, quantum science suggests the existence of many possibilities, many possible futures for each moment of our lives. Each future lies in a state of rest until it is awakened by choices made in the present. Again, I'll repeat. So each state, the existence of many possibilities in the quantum field, and each state lies in a state of rest. It is lying dormant. Every possibility is lying dormant until it is awakened by our choices made in the present, until it is awakened by our thoughts, our emotions, by our actions, until it is awakened by our consciousness. It is the consciousness which creates. It is the consciousness which gives life and force and wings to the dormant state, energy to the dormant state, and brings. And that's how thoughts become things. This we have seen. This I've shared before. Yes, Keshav. Can I show the next video? So yeah, let me finish all the slides and then last we can see the video. So the truth is we are the field, right? It's not just that there's a field around us. It's not like that there's a quantum field. There is a quantum field, but we are the field. It's like we are the wave and we are the ocean. Swami Nisargadatta Maharaj said that love is knowing, wisdom is knowing that I am nothing. Right? Swami Nisargadatta Maharaj said that wisdom is knowing that I am nothing, and love is knowing that I am everything. And between the two, my life flows. So we are the wave and we are the ocean both. We are the ocean and we are also the drop in the ocean. We are both. That's why we are the field. We are the universe. That's why we say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. I am that. I am. Tattvamasi, you are that. This next slide. And because we are the field, the rules of the field, the rules of the quantum field are the key to empowering our lives. So that's why we are bound by because we are the field, we are bound by the rules of the quantum field. And the foremost rule of the quantum field is the law of attraction, the law of vibration. Like the foremost rule of the earth is the law of gravity. The same way, we are bound by the rules. But if we follow, and if we learn how to follow the rule, if we learn how to adapt to the rule, we can create miracles. Otherwise, we'll always live in a constant life of cause and effect. Cause is outside and it is affecting. And then we'll get trapped into that vicious cycle. The truth is, we are the field of information constantly expanding and collapsing, depending on our thoughts and emotions. One very important information I'll share with you, that our body is made of cells. We have 50 trillion cells in our body, right? We know that human body is approximately 50 trillion cells. I've shared this again and again. Now, each cell is made of 100 trillion atoms. So out of 50 trillion cells, each cell is made of 100 trillion atoms. So you have 100 trillion opportunities to interact with the field. So each cell has 100 trillion probabilities or choices to interact with the field. And we have 50 trillion cells. So look at the probabilities we have. What an amazing creator we are. All we need is to realize our potential, our possibilities. So again, I'll repeat same thing by John Wheeler. He said, we are a part of a universe that is a work in progress. We live in a participatory universe. I'll share the last slide by Elon Musk, where he says, don't just follow the trend. You may have heard me say that it is good to think in terms of physics approach of first principles, which is rather than reasoning by analogy, you boil down things to the most fundamental truths you can imagine and reason up from there. So most fundamental truths, which is the law of attraction, which is think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And once you start seeing the world in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, it will look so simplified. There is no mystery to the universe. So now I'll share a very important research where it will prove to you how our thoughts and emotions has an effect on the world around us, how physically we can transform the world, how physically it happens. Very important research. There are 2 experiments which will really open your eyes. And so let me share with you. So friends who are those on YouTube, last time we played it, it stopped on YouTube. We replayed it again. So you can just have patience and we'll replay it again on YouTube. Or otherwise, you can join the Zoom link if it stops on the YouTube. So let's share this. Yes, Keshav can share. Yeah. Wait, let me see the, no, not the quantum entangle, Kaushik, on humans, yeah. So Keshav.
In our last episode, we identified the science-based discovery of a field of energy, a real-life matrix that functions in 3 very precise ways. This matrix, number 1, it's the container for the universe itself and for all things that can happen in the universe. Number 2, it's the bridge between our inner and our outer worlds. Everything that happens from within, our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs are conveyed to the world beyond our bodies through this field. And number 3, the mirror. The mirror, this field is a mirror in the world for what we claim to be true in our deepest, sometimes subconscious beliefs. Well, scientists are no longer asking the question, are we connected? The field tells us that we are. Now, the question is, how deeply are we connected? How much influence do we really have in the world through this field? Well, there are 2 very futuristic scientific experiments that take us light years beyond anything that we've believed and science has accepted in the past. I want to share those with you. What they are showing, however, has opened the door to a possibility that modern science is now struggling with. So let's take a look at these 2 experiments. The first one was published in the Russian Bulletin of the Lebedev Physics Institute in 1992. And the experiment begins with something seemingly very innocent, a glass vessel, a vase, where all of the air has been completely drawn out of this vessel to create what we call a vacuum. So a vacuum implies that this vessel is empty, but we know it's not completely empty because there are still little photons of light that remain in this vessel. Scientists know this. So the question now is, where are those photons? They want to get a baseline and see where the photons are right now. So the first part of this experiment, they draw the air out of the vessel, and then they measure where these photons are in the vessel. Are they all piled up on the bottom? Or are they floating around the inside? Or are they all stuck to the edges? And what they found was no surprise. The vessel showed that these photons are completely random. They're completely random. By the way, these are the same kinds of photons, the particles of matter that make up the atom itself, that we described in the last episode. So we're dealing with these fundamental particles of the stuff that our world is made of, and that's important. So the scientists found that the distribution of the photons in this vessel was completely random. No surprise, that's what they expected. The next piece of this experiment is where, while the experiment is fascinating, what I find really fascinating is the thinking of the scientists that made the experiment possible. For a scientist trained in the scientific method, based upon all of those false assumptions that we saw earlier in this program, those assumptions of separation, for the scientists to move out of that box of thinking and begin asking new questions like, what if our assumptions are wrong? What would that tell us about our world? That's where it gets really interesting, and that's what the next part of this experiment is all about. Because what the scientists did was, into the vessel that had completely random photons, they put human DNA. Human DNA, because they wanted to see if human DNA has an effect on the photons. And before I go any further, I'm going to invite you to think about what they're asking. Photons are the stuff this world is made of. DNA is the stuff we're made of. And they're asking, scientists are asking in the laboratory, does the stuff we're made of have an effect on the stuff our world is made of? This is where it starts to sound like science fiction, or at least something that an advanced yogi would be working with. But these are in a bona fide scientific laboratory, these questions, this is where they're being asked. So here's what they did. They took human DNA and they placed it inside the vessel. And then they measured the DNA again to see what would happen. And they measured the photons again to see what would happen. And the results of this experiment changed the way we have been conditioned to think about ourselves and the world. Because the photons went from being completely random when they were first measured, and in the presence of the human DNA, the photons are no longer random, they are ordered. They followed precisely the geometry of the DNA. The DNA was having a direct effect on the photons. The stuff we're made of is having a direct effect on the stuff our world is made of. Just like some of our most ancient and cherished indigenous and spiritual traditions have always told us that we are connected to the world. So this is the first experiment. Human DNA has a measurable effect on the stuff our world is made of. Now I want you to see the way the scientists responded to this. So I'm going to read this to you directly. In the journal Nanobiology, it was published in 1995, the way the scientists described this, they said that the photons were described as behaving, and this is a quote, surprisingly and counterintuitively. Counterintuitively. It's counterintuitive because the scientific thinking is that everything is separate from everything else, and there is no stuff to convey any effect from the DNA to the matter. That's why it's counterintuitive to the science. But the next piece is what I find particularly interesting. I'm going to invite you to listen to the language. It says we are forced to accept the possibility. They're saying that they are forced. They're not saying it looks like, or it appears, or this is what we found. They're saying we are forced to accept the possibility that some new field of energy is being excited by the DNA. Well, I think we know it's not a new field. It's a field that's been around a long time. It's simply that we are just now recognizing that field and what it means to us. So the summary of this second experiment is that science now confirms that human DNA influences the stuff our world is made of through the photons by communicating directly through the field. That's a big piece. But now let me go to the second experiment. This experiment was published in the Journal of Scientific Exploration in 1994. It begins with human DNA, once again,